God bless you today. It's another day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I'm Pastor Augustus T. Curry. I'm so happy and delighted to share our Wednesday noonday wow. That's our word on Wednesday with you today. Thank you for tuning in to be with us. Bring your greetings from the Cornerstone Church here in Fayette County, Georgia. I'm super excited about our Bible study today. It's dealing with one of the most beloved passages of Scripture in all the Bible. That's the 23rd Psalm. The 23rd Psalm. Beyond doubt, that certainly has to be one of the most familiar, recited, quoted, read passages of literature in all the world. Be it sacred or secular for that matter. I don't believe any other passage of literature has been referred to more than the 23rd Psalm. From prison cells to hospital rooms to funeral and homegoing celebrations, the 23rd Psalm has to be one of the most beloved passages of literature in all of civilization. However, today I want to share with you the ideal that the interpretation that most have given to the 23rd Psalm is not exactly what the psalmist had in mind in composing this 23rd number of Psalm. Most people interpret even the first verse of this 23rd Psalm in the way that it is written, particularly in the English translation and language. For the English translation most often, reads it as, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In that light, the emphasis is placed on the want. The Lord is my shepherd, so therefore you hear people say, I have all my needs. Have all I need. Have all I need. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And from the English translation, I guess that would be a most reasonable interpretation. But again, it's not what the psalmist intended in writing the psalm. I believe what the psalmist is actually saying, when you read it in its original writing and translation, it says, in essence, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want another shepherd. That's totally different from the way perhaps you've heard it, and perhaps the way most people, not perhaps, that's totally different from the way most people have heard it and have it understood to them across the years. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's vastly different from because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want another shepherd. The way that we're accustomed to hearing it interpreted, again, the emphasis is based on the things that we want. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for anything. And you know that can't be true because everybody has wants. If you're human, you have wants. Matter of fact, I have more wants probably than I have needs. And so we have a lot of wants, yet the Lord is still my shepherd. So that can't be what David in the psalm is trying to convey. The Lord can be your shepherd and you can still want a whole lot of things. Just because he's your shepherd doesn't mean you don't want anything. So it's got to be more to it than that. And so I believe what David is actually saying here is, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for another shepherd. Listen to what he says. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He, pronoun, masculine pronoun, he, beginning of verse 3, he restoreth my soul. The focus is on the shepherd, not on the want. So, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for another shepherd. He even makes me lie down in green pastures. What is it about green pastures that are beneficial to you as sheep? Green pastures are the most nutrient-filled pastures. That's why they're green. They're the most plush pastures. They're the most cared for pastures. That's why they're green pastures. They're not filled with weeds and brush. But the shepherd has gone through much in order to make the pasture green. Back in Palestine, where David was a shepherd boy, at one time he used to tend his father Jesse's sheep. And so he knows much about shepherding. In order to get green pastures in Palestine and in the area where David grew up, I mean, a whole lot of work and expense had to go into that. Irrigation systems had to be brought in, the clearing of the land, the brush, the weeds, and so forth. Fertilizer had to be brought in. A whole lot had to go into making green pastures. Yet, David says, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Well, Pastor, if pastures that are green are the best pastures, if they have all this stuff you've been talking about, they have the most nutrients, they're the most plush to lay down in, all that, why in the world would the shepherd have to make you lie down in it if it's that good? Again, it says, he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Seems like you would want it on your own if it's that nice. So what is the point? Why is it necessary for the shepherd to make you lie down in that which is best for you? Why don't you go to it on your own? Well, again, David is focusing on the shepherd, not on the things. So again, he says, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for another shepherd. I still have some wants. I got 99 wants, but one of them is not for another shepherd. All right? And so, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for another shepherd. I want some things that I don't need, and then I need some things I don't want. That's how we are as sheep. And so sheep may not even want green pastures on their own. They keep their head down. They don't pay attention to where they're going. That's why they have to be led. And so the sheep just wants what's in front of it. And so because the Lord is our shepherd, he makes us to do some things that are even in our own best interest and that are best for us, whether we want it or not. Because our wants are not always what's best for us. That's why I say David is not saying the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for anything. No, I want some things, but some of the things that I should want, I don't even know to want. And so he makes me to lie down in that what I should be wanting. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. It's because he's my shepherd, and that's why I don't want for another shepherd. He gives me what I need, whether at the time I understand I need it or want it in the first place. He leads me beside the still waters. The blessing is not just the still waters, but the blessing is in that the fact that the Lord is leading you. Still waters are cool. Because, sheep have wool, of course, and the wool soaks up water. And so if the sheep is drinking water and the water is dashing up against them, the wool quickly absorbs the water and it changes the weight of the sheep drastically and instantly. And so it's easy for the sheep to lose its balance and even fall over in the water and drown. And so the shepherd is so awesome that he doesn't allow us to get into situations like that where what we're trying to get can end up causing us to lose our balance and we end up drowning. And so he leads us beside still waters. He digs a trench from the troubling waters into a small pool area, and the water just trickles into the pool, and it's called a still pool, and the water in the still pool is called still waters. That's what the Lord does as our shepherd. And so again, the blessing is not just in the still waters, that's fine, but the blessing is in the fact that he leadeth me. He leadeth me. Another pronoun, verse 3 again, pronoun, he restoreth my soul. And then he again. And so again, it's about the shepherd, not about the wants. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want for another shepherd. You see how it changes your whole perspective on the 23rd Psalm? When you're focusing, when you realize that David is focusing, and then you focus on the fact that it's the shepherd that is so awesome and amazing that we don't want for another shepherd. Certainly we want for things in life, but we're more happy and excited about the fact that the Lord is our shepherd. He can give us what we want and what we need. He restores my soul, leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. For his name's sake. I like that. I like that. Perhaps some of you grew up in a time where you had a parent who would tell you when you were about to go out or go off visiting somewhere, they would say, now don't forget whose child you are. In other words, don't forget whose name you're carrying. You represent the family's name. And so David is saying he leads us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. We're carrying his name. He says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Now, certainly you don't want to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So again, the psalm is not about not wanting anything, but it's about the shepherd who's with you and walking with you. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because I have everything I want? No. It's because the shepherd is with me. He says, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And so the emphasis of, again, this 23rd Psalm is not just on the things that we want, but it's on the shepherd who provides. Listen, he says here, David says, thou even prepares a table before me, not in the absence. That's what I would want. I would want to be in the absence. But that's not what the shepherd does. He prepares a table before you, even in the presence of your enemies. Lord have mercy. And so it's not that because he's my shepherd, I don't have any wants, but it's the fact that because he's my shepherd and is so good to me, I don't want for another shepherd. He'll even prepare a table before me in the presence of my haters. In other words, he doesn't have to send them away. He can bless you even in the midst of it. Yeah. He can bless you in the midst of whatever they're trying to put on you. He'll prepare a table. He'll make them sit down and have to watch you enjoy yourself at the table. He anoints your head with oil. He'll make your cup to run over. And because the Lord is my shepherd, I don't have to want for another shepherd. He does so much for me. And then listen, finally he says, even goodness and mercy. Surely they're following after me. They're following after me all the days of my life. And then I'm going to dwell, Lord have mercy, in the house of the Lord. Yeah, the house of the Lord, again, is about the shepherd, not just the house. I'm going to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And so that's the 23rd Psalm, I believe, in the mindset of the one who composed the 23rd Psalm, that the emphasis is not on the wants that we might have, but rather on the shepherd and his goodness, and his goodness to the extent that we ought not ever want or look for another shepherd. God bless you today. I hope that opens up some new ideas and new insight for you. Whenever you go back and read this 23rd number of Psalm again, I pray that you would read it in that light, out of that lens. That is not about us not wanting anything. We want a whole lot of things. But we've got a shepherd who gives us the best. He gives us some things we don't want. But then after we receive what he has for us that we did not even want, we realize that it's so much better than the stuff that we thought we wanted in the first place. If I was preaching, I would ask you, won't he do it? But that's our study for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to sharing with you again this coming Sunday at 9 o'clock on our YouTube channel as well as Facebook. We'll be celebrating our men and women this month in October. Normally, we would have Women's Day, Men's Day throughout the year, other type of special days at our church, but due to the coronavirus and the COVID-19 that it so often leads to, we haven't been able to do that. So we're going to keep things as normal as we can. And so we'll be celebrating our women and our men this month, and I'm certainly excited about that. Please register to vote early, and certainly vote even if you don't vote early. Vote when the polls are open, and let's make a change. All right. God bless you till we meet again. Talk to you later. I'm your pastor, A.T. Curry. God bless you.